Today we're talking to Rauls Vēliņš, who is director for Roche in Latvia. And we will discuss a number of things. We will talk about data lakes and the influence of data lakes on our ability to help patients. We will discuss startup scene in Latvia and how Roche is helping Latvian early stage startups to get access to the market and get their products on a European scale. So we're discussing healthcare, right? Okay. And then we can discuss healthcare from many perspectives, from pharmaceuticals, from med tech, and I know that Roche is in both of those areas. We can discuss healthcare from how do we deliver pharmaceuticals or technology to the patient, what is changing in those delivery mechanisms, both deliver into the body and then deliver into the hospital. What has changed in supply chains because of COVID strains and because of changing relationship with China, right? And then kind of from your perspective, coming back from COVID time, how do you see what was the greatest impact on Roche and then on pharmaceuticals in general?
You are right. First of all, Roche is really a healthcare company. So let's say some 10 years ago, we were very proud that we were a pharmaceutical company. Mm-hmm. These days we are announcing that we would like to be really healthcare company where patient is the center. And we really have several legs for our company, and this is the basis for success, I believe. So one is really diagnostics, and then we have treatment options, and then we have data, data services.
Yes.
So these are three major fields where Roche is operating. And if you talk about COVID, that we were delighted that we could serve our society with diagnostics, first of all, and secondly, we also had some treatment options for COVID. So we could save lives. We were one of the rare companies which had medicine which saves lives. I cannot call it because it's prescription, but we were really happy that we had. And it depended from governments how many medicines they ordered. It was done centrally via European Union. So, but the change is very big in how hospitals now are equipped. Because due to COVID, many hospitals bought very modern equipment for diagnostics. And now they're thinking what to do with this equipment, because it seems that COVID is less and less actual. Not so, let's say, big priority anymore. And now they have to use this equipment different ways. So it is a challenge. But Latvia was in a very special situation because by accident they had fantastic equipment in infectology center and in blood transfusion center, and they had these carousels where they could diagnose a lot of samples and really cheap, less than $10. So it was very just, let's say we were lucky that we could do it.
On technology side, we were saying that in those first 3 months or first 6 months of COVID, our clients, society has made progress into the cloud computing worth of, the previous 10 years. And you mentioned data and then data analytics. So how do you think, how does it change the ways, industry is organized? Should we expect, for example, Latvian hospitals to be connected to American artificial intelligence centers, or Google artificial intelligence centers, or Amazon artificial intelligence centers? So how can it change?
It's so many questions you asked, I cannot remember even. But one thing what I want to be very clear, COVID really changed our behaviors and attitudes and way how we are working, and also how patients are behaving. The tremendous opportunity is to join forces between healthcare companies like Roche
Yes.
and Microsoft or Google type companies.
Yes.
You know, if these two companies would
Combine, yes. Yes.
that would create such solutions for patients we even can't imagine. Really, I believe this strongly.
Yes, absolutely.
Because one part, like Roche, doesn't have digital
Yes.
so deep to compare with them, and they don't have medical. So I think there is, who will be first, this will be winner. But if we talk about patients, I just returned from Israel, a fantastic example, and I hope that Latvia will follow it. For example, pregnancy. Pregnancy in Israel, in Sheba Medical Center, they call Health City, not hospital anymore, Health City.
Okay.
It's like Stradiņa Hospital, to just understand a little bit, but just different. In Israel, each pregnant lady is proposed to have ultrasound detector, and she can locate this detector at home. She doesn't need to go to hospital, only first time to be educated. And then she goes, she receives not only this ultrasound detector, she also receives different kits for genetic abnormalities and so on. It's like program, like calendar. She receives everything at home. No need to come anymore to hospital at all. At the first, they started with healthy women, no risks. And now they even monitor high-risk women this way. Of course, anytime doctor can call to the hospital because on the, these visualizations are in the screen in the hospital. So basically this ultrasound detector is placed with iPhone or other phones together, and she receives special belt with pockets, because it's very important how you put this ultrasound detector in certain positions you have to use. Fantastic approach.
Amazing.
Yeah, patients' life also we offered. You mentioned multiple sclerosis, very big success of yours. For example, we offer during COVID that we are ready to serve patients at home, because many multiple sclerosis patients are not mobile. It's very difficult for them to move, especially for those. We suggested they could receive treatment at home. Also, you mentioned logistics. A lot of pharmacies, they are ready to serve patients at home, which previously was not possible.
It was not possible.
You know, in Israel they had, now I can make mistake, but Sheba's Medical Center have more than 30 virtual clinics. Virtual.
Wow.
Can you imagine? No need to go there. They can do these medical consultations online.
And this will be specialized clinics.
Specialized, very specialized.
Yeah, okay.
Special disease areas.
Special disease
It's
area.
fantastic achievement. But you know, Sheba is really example. It's world's top 10 one of the world's top 10 hospitals, and nominated by Forbes, for example, and similar agencies.
So you mentioned Israel, and then very often when we talk about our startup ecosystem, our research ecosystem, our technological ecosystem in the Baltics, we would like to be as Israel, right? So how do you see the Baltic states? We are part of the market for pharmaceutical companies, but how much do we produce of pharmaceutical research? How much we produce in terms of medicines? How much technology do you see coming from startups or established companies or hospitals? So how much do we contribute back to the world economy that we're receiving from so much?
I think we have very big potential here. I really believe that we do. Like we have Organic Synthesis Institute. We have big pharmaceuticals like Grindex and Walline Farm. Even Roche has cooperation with Organic Synthesis Institute and others. But there is big difference where Roche is coming to this institute and saying, please do this for us and check, I don't know, stability or produce medicines.
Yep.
I classify this as a lower grade science. And can you imagine, we are starting to talk about Israel because I was so impressed by this visit and by this opportunity. But you know, each bigger Israeli medical center have a lot of startups. They have research there. They try to develop product to sell. They have managed to put objective for their doctors who are working in the hospital. It's not university. It's not scientific institute like OSI. They are just hospital basically. But what they manage to set up mindset of doctors that they have to be curious about this patient. And for example, in you know, now it's very popular molecular tumor boards, where new professions taking place, like molecular biologist, molecular pathologist, genetician, biostatistician. We don't have such professions at all. It's new professions. Now Riga Stradiņš University is starting to introduce these ones. But what was very interesting, they try to develop product inside hospital as long as they can, because the value of this product is greater. And only then they sell to Roche or other companies. And it's a fantastic approach to develop product, and they acknowledge that many startups are not successful, many failures. But the director of this center said, it's more important to have this mindset, this research mindset. And I think in Latvia, and Latvia is particularly very big potentials there, I think somehow we are a little bit benefiting from this Soviet time, I think. I don't have any sentiment, but I think this mindset, because everything was prohibited, and we had to think how to do it different way. And basically in research, it's very valid point, how to find solution for patient in different way than existing therapies, for example, are. So I think it's really, we have all the potential, but we have to change our mindsets in the biggest, especially in the biggest hospitals, and they have to really, start think about patient in different way from research perspective. And for example, in these molecular tumor boards, what is interesting, it's not only doctors participating. For example, in Karolinska Institute, which is our neighbor, they're also inviting researchers there, because each case is unique. And not only doctors, also researchers. Because there are many cases where there are no, let's say, registered indications or registered way to help this patient. There should be, many years ago, it was said medicine is art. This is art. Because you have to... Each
case is unique, right?
Yeah, each case is personalized and unique, yes.
It's very interesting what you're saying about the Israeli approach, when they kind of motivate the doctors to learn from what they see and then come up with their products and maybe then create their startups. Because I think that's, you know, how the Silicon Valley came about, right? When scientists in the university and in academia, they were motivated and proposed to do the same, and then the system was created around it, right? If you have a great idea, then you can spin it off. And this is also the legislation that I think we now have across the Baltic countries, right? When somebody works at a university, there is a great idea, university has, you know, a portion of the copyright, and then the person is guaranteed his or her own portion of the copyright. And then the same approach can also work in hospitals, right? Because they see a lot of...
Talking about universities and you know, and ranking of universities, it's really needed to have standardized e-health, or other words, data lakes. So Baltic states are not so big that they can afford their own data lakes. No, they can, but the value is very little. Because
it's very
patient
expensive
pool,
per person, yes.
Exactly,
yes.
and patient pool is small.
Yeah, patient pool is small.
Our value is if we could join Nordic countries at least, or European market. So if we could be in the one lake with Europeans or at least Nordics, it would be totally different. And I remember in Portugal, they had experience, for example, they are collecting all data already many years. And for example, doctor has idea, or doctor has, I don't know.
Hypothesis.
Yes, hypothesis. And they don't have to go to archive, to look at histories, to search something. No, they just state these hypothetical questions. And hospital statistician is giving results immediately. So I would like to tell that also in Latvia we are unique in Nordic Europe because we are affiliate which has this Roche incubator, and we have some few startups. And what we recognized, for example, that these startups have bright ideas, and but what they need to realize not only money, but also they need these data lakes, available data lakes, and also available histological material, for example, for patients, specific patients, like lung cancer patients who receive immunotherapy, for example. And can you imagine when our startup is approaching countries like United States or wherever and asking, could we buy from your biobank certain histological material and patient data? And the answer usually is, yes, you can buy from us, but intellectual property from results will belong also to us.
Which is logical, right?
Yeah, and our startup is not happy because they want to develop this product, not this California biobank. So, and we are like stuck. And what I found in Israel, that they also have biobank, but they developed special encryption of data. It's even more than anonymized data, but encryption. So that they could come, our startup could come to Israel, buy this histological material, get patient data, and they could analyze there. They cannot take out of the Israel histological material, only there, but they can do their research. And they can answer these hypothetical questions. And it's fantastic that they offer this, because they see it's also excellent business opportunity. Why Latvia can't offer this? We also could.
Absolutely. And then especially if it is, across the Baltics, then it gives you much bigger...
Absolutely. It's huge opportunity here, but very little, let's say, politicians look at medicine as business. But in business and in healthcare, it's about competitive marketplace, which infrastructure will be more friendly to any researcher worldwide.
And maybe you can tell us more about your innovation center. How many startups do you have there?
We have only 2 startups now.
Okay. And what are the approximate direction of their research?
One is what I told to you about this. What they want to do is they want to use computer vision by detecting why only 30–40% of lung cancer patients responding to immunotherapy, because by criteria they are same patients, but only 40% has long therapy efficacy. But 60 not, but one treatment is 50,000 euros roughly. It's huge money, can you imagine? So when we wanted by computer vision to look in this histological material and ask artificial intelligence to differentiate responders and non-responders. This is one. And second is very similar. We use this opportunity that in University of Latvia there is a fantastic atomic force microscope. And atomic force microscope is not used in medicine. Its literature is very little actually, no publications about it. So, and our scientists will use atomic force microscope to find what actually is going on in cancer patients.
Okay, so you would also use computer vision and the microscope to understand what are the dynamics of changes, throughout the treatment.
Yeah, I know, for example, Professor Isayev's brought few samples just to check, is it actually possible to see anything from these cancer samples? And when these, let's say, these scientists said that it is possible, then we said, great research, could be fantastic. Wow. And we can use that. Baltic states, we are very small. From one side, it's very bad. But if needed, we can bring live cells to this atomic force microscope. Because they are not in hospitals. But in New York, it may be 6 hours you have to travel, and cells are dead already. Yeah. But in Latvia, you can do it in 40 minutes.
And then, is this innovation center, is it working throughout the Baltics, or is it only in Latvia?
We don't put any limitations there. We announce topic. Yes. We believe it is interesting, and which is according to Roche priorities. And then we just announce, and then there is period for applications. So, but we don't say, oh, if you are in China, you are not, you cannot come to us.
Absolutely. Then we're going to put up a link to the site, right, where people can see topics. Yes. Right? So I guess the more cooperation we have from at least within the Baltic states, the better.
Yes. Right? Yes. Absolutely.
And then this is why we wanted to introduce this kind of new theme of Baltic states as a joint agglomeration, because some of the things are just not possible if you do a data lake. For one country, you just don't have enough of patients and cases. So from sociological, political perspective, do you think, where it's like possible at all for the countries to say, let's pull all of the data together?
I'm not so competent about Lithuania, I don't know. But Estonians already joining Finnish data lakes. I know they are in front of us. And for example, they have common prescription already, which is valid. If Estonian doctor prescribes, this prescription can be used in Helsinki as well. So, and now we also have this electronic prescription, and we wanted to join Estonia, but somehow these systems are built that way in Latvia that there are some problems.
It's not that easy, right?
Yeah, but what I want to say, now we have a new health minister. And so many millions are spent to have e-health, because e-health is not electronic prescription only, or electronic documents. E-health is about analysis of results of treatment and patient journey, from patient journey perspective. And I hope the new minister, what we have now, will look at opportunity to join Finnish or Swedish or Danish e-health system without creating by Latvian specialists. We have, of course, but it's much more effective because they're already working many years successfully analyzing data. If we will want to start again from the zero, it will take again 5 years, and we don't know what will be result. But they have result. And we would be very happy if we would be invited to participate in working group from such members who wants to join and to pay to Finnish e-health system for membership or participation, but not to create new. Because it's a little bit seems that, can you imagine if you would like to create in Latvia Mercedes-Benz?
It's a bit difficult, I would say.
Or Roche Medicines, or Roche Diagnostics. It's why to create bicycle second time and spend money for it and maybe no result. So we would suggest to join, to choose one more similar to our situation. Adoption will be needed anyway. I'm not saying that we can take one-to-one, but adaptation is much cheaper and with better prognosis.
And then I know that Roche does a lot in cancer research for many years. So maybe what are the latest developments of what you are doing and other companies are doing? What is the latest progress in research?
I think what is really unique is that cancer these days are more and more treated according to cancer mutation and not by geographic cancer location, which means that it could be that, for example, in colon there is breast cancer by mutation. So this cancer should be treated not like colon cancer, but like breast cancer, because it's breast cancer mutation. So, it's not so easy for mindset of doctors to change it. Also, reimbursement systems are not developed that way because it's not registered indication. We call it, it's colon cancer. And we cannot give medicine for colon cancer, breast cancer treatment. It's not registered. It's off-label use. So
it's not an official diagnosis.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Diagnosis could be official, but treatment opportunities are very limited. It's only out of pocket. And also, doctors who would like to use such approach, it's not so many. They are very, let's say, traditional. And then second is that we monitor these patients who receive treatments by liquid biopsies. And there was problems that this liquid biopsy, it's easy to understand. If cancer is very small first stage, then it's more difficult to detect by liquid biopsy, because liquid biopsy is just blood sample. And in blood, it will be not so many circulating cancer cells if it's small. So, but this is developing very fast, and now we can already detect in early stages too. But in third and fourth stage, it's easy to detect. So, and this is future. We do surgery, we do targeted therapy, and we monitor patient with liquid biopsies. It's fantastic. And we will live, like we mentioned Israel so many times today, there are already lung cancer patients living 5 years without. In our case, 50% of third, fourth stage lung cancer patients dies in the first year. Can you imagine? It's tragic. So everything is going in such a way that we will beat this cancer one day.
And then maybe changing the topic a little bit, since the human genome was digitized, right? In the last 30, 40 years, pharmaceuticals has moved into very much personalized medicine. And we are more and more going into the area that it's not just aspirin that you can prescribe or something more complex, but something that is specifically created for a person. How do you see this trend developing, and maybe kind of what are the latest inventions and the latest products hitting the market?
I think healthcare companies like Roche, for example, we are looking in more and more advanced treatments. So we know that if we will start treat, let's say, cancer patient early enough, results will be better. So it goes to early diagnosis. How? For example, liquid biopsies. Already now, for example, lung cancer patients in Latvia are reimbursed for liquid biopsy. So what does it mean? It means that it could be detected, for example, approximately 20 different cancer mutations. Each mutation can be treated, let's say, by 2-3 different medicines from different companies. But they are much more effective. And companies like Roche, we are ready that state is paying only for effective treatment. If we didn't succeed, we give money back. We don't need this money if we didn't succeed. So this is one. The second about genome is, we have in Latvia genome biobank, by the way. But I think it will be more and more genome-oriented medicine. And already now in the United States and other countries, there is possibility to find out what is my polygenetic profile on birth. And this profile will show me that I have risk for endocrinology diseases like diabetes, or family hypercholesteremia, for example, or cancer. And then from this primary finding, next healthcare solutions can be defined. How often, if I would find that I have to be worried about diabetes, then diet can be implemented from childhood, not give all sweets to this child if it's a risk for diabetes and so on. Also cancer, different screening programs can be applied. Now European Union has only one priority, to beat the cancer, right? Only one in medicine, nothing else. And for example, now Professor Krams is talking about introducing lung cancer screening in Latvia. So, but if we would know this polygenetic risk profile, then we could implement different screening methods, or breast cancer, or ovarian cancer. These, despite of age, we could check these women more often and find solutions for them and treatments much earlier.
And of course, it completely changes the way treatment happens.
Exactly.
If you diagnose this early.
And family doctor, I don't know if they are not ready to become prevention doctor. Actually, it's about prevention.
Family, yes, about family doctor, about prevention. Yeah.
About prevention. So it's totally different doctor. I think if one would like to stay as it is now, they will lose their job because nobody will need this family doctor.
Yeah. Thank you for your insights.
With pleasure.
Yeah.
My honor to be here.